Hello friends, it's another very interesting time. Tumekutana tena na kwenye kipindi hichi tutaanza kusolve moja kwa moja paper yetu ya NECTA mwaka 2021. So la kwanza liko nasema brief describe stages of ostrich cycle. Na B yake justify the need for the ostrich cycle in a female animal. Kwa A ilikuwa nataka tuelezea ostrich cycle na B ilikuwa ni kuelezea the need of ostrich cycle au the importance of ostrich cycle. So ni la max 10. So katika max 10 manake hapo ukiangalia inaonyesha kabisa kama A inaweza kuwa na max nyingi kuliko B. So A inaweza kuwa na max 6, 7, B ikawa na max zinazobakia hapo ili ziweze kufika max ngapi? Max 10. So kifupi ni kwamba you need to have a knowledge of reproduction topic. You need to have the knowledge of ostrich cycle. Hopefully unafahamu ostrich cycle hata kwenye kitabu cha time imeandikwa. So hili swali kifupi liko ndani ya syllabus. But reproduction is one among the very long topic na ina maswali mawili. So ni vigumu ku identify wapi patatoka na kuclaim kila part, inakuwa kazi ngumu. Unaweza kuniuliza kwamba inakuwaje sasa uona tuambiaje hivyo wakati wewe mwenyewe ulifaulu? Ni kweli mimi nilifaulu, lakini naweza nikakwambia the way nilivyofaulu reproduction ilikuwa ni kwa muujiza tu. Ilikuwa ni kwa muujiza wakati nasubiria mtihani wangu wa taifa. Nikiwa niko nje ilikuja akili kwamba naenda kasome fertilization ya human being. Nikaenda nikasoma fertilization, ikatoka kwa mtihani likawa swali max 15. So for this fact I memorize you. It's important to pray. Kumwamini Mungu nayo ni kitu muhimu tu. Bidii huwa inakuwepo, tunafanya bidii mpaka pale tunapoishia, then Mungu anamaliza pale ambapo bidii yetu imeshafanya kazi. Kwa hiyo nilikuwa nasoma na toboa, lakini pia Mungu ni kitu muhimu. Now utaeleza definition of ostrich cycle au meaning of ostrich cycle, and then baada ya kueleza hiyo meaning of ostrich cycle utatakiwa kueleza phases of ostrich cycle, ambazo kuna hiyo proestrus, ostrus yenyewe, metoestrus, dioestrus na anaestrus. Unaona, utakiwa ueleze hizo phases. Na kiufupi you can't remember all of the information in these phases. What you write is the important things which are happening in that phase. Hata ukaambiwa explain meiosis, hauwezi kukumbuka everything in meiosis. You are not a memory card of computer. So you remember not all the things, but you remember the important one, the important events. So unapokuwa unasoma part yote lazima ukumbuke important events or important thing which you should remember in that part. So this is the phase before ostrus, proestrus. Pro means before, the phase before ostrus, during which one or more follicles in the ovary develop. One or more follicles, depending on a species, start to develop. There is a regression of the corpus luteum of the previous cycle in polycyclic species, yani katika wale animal ambao wanakuwa wanafanya cycle nyingi kwa mwaka. This means that progesterone hormone level are decreasing due to corpus luteum regression. Hata ukiwa ukumbuki, ukishazungumzia mambo ya ku regress corpus luteum, and the way the function of corpus luteum is to produce progesterone, manake these events you need to link them. Yani always kwenye biology we need to link events. Kuna vitu unakuwa hauvikumbuki moja kwa moja, lakini unavikumbuka kwa kulink. Manake nini? Wewe unakumbuka kwenye proestrus inafanya ni regression of corpus luteum. Maelezo ya ku decrease level of progesterone unayakumbuka automatically, because you know the function of corpus luteum is to produce progesterone hormone. If it regresses, that means the level of progesterone hormone will decrease. And if the level of progesterone will decrease, what will happen? The hypothalamus is no longer inhibited and estrogen level are rising. Kwa sababu kilichopo ni kwamba one among the function of progesterone is to inhibit the hypothalamus to produce what? Estrogen. Unaona, kama progesterone itapungua, manake hypothalamus itaweza kurelease ni estrogen. Actually hypothalamus sio kama ina release estrogen, lakini ina release factor ambayo inaenda kusababisha production of estrogen. Kwa tunachokisema hapa ni kwamba the important thing which you need to remember here is the regression of the corpus luteum. Regression of corpus luteum ndio inayopelekea kila kitu. This is the phase before stress, during which one or more follicle in the ovary develop, lakini pia regression of corpus luteum. The regression of corpus luteum leads to decrease in the progesterone hormone. And when the progesterone hormone is decreased, that means the hypothalamus is no longer inhibited. And estrogen level now start rising due to the formation of follicles. Kwa hiyo follicles zitakuwa zinatengeneza ni estrogen. Unaona bwana? Estrogen stimulates the repair and development of the endometrium, and it as well inhibits anterior pituitary gland to secrete follicle stimulating hormone. So estrogen, which is produced by the follicles, inhibit the pituitary. Unaona hizi kazi, kwa mfano ya maelezo yote hapa chini, it's all about linking, and this even in the menstrual cycle kwa wanyama kama binadamu kuna vitu kama hivyo hapa, hormone fulani vinavyotengenezwa na inhibit fulani inhibit. And the influence of estrogen, lining of the uterus start to develop, gradually enlarges, the endometrium begin to be congested, and when it matters, it grants show evidence of the increasing secretory activity. The vaginal mucosa begin to be hyperemic, such that the number of cells laying in the vaginal epithelium start to increase, and the superficial layer become conified. Nimekwambia uweze kukumbuka maelezo yote kwenye mtihani, kwa hiyo utaandika unayokumbuka. Ukiweza kuyakumbuka hadi hapa, it's good, ni vizuri tu. Katika hiyo step utakuwa umekumbuka maelezo mazuri tu. Events hizo za vaginal epithelium to increase in their cells and change in their appearance. Ostrus yenyewe, ostrus literally means heat period. Hichi ndio kipindi ambacho mnyama anakuwa anahesabika kama yuko heat. It is during this period when females are said to be in heat, and therefore they are sexually receptive and ready to receive males. That's the things you need to remember. And you need to remember, what does this phase contain? Unaona, during this period there is increased this sexual desire. Hiyo ni automatic. Ushazungumzia heat period katika animals, increased sexual desire zimueleze of female, hence a female is willing to receive a male. Yeah, is willing to receive a male. Like in period of ovarian follicles are full maturing, consists of the estrogen level to raise to the highest, which stimulate pulse secretion of follicle stimulating hormone and luteinizing hormone to reach peak level. Lazima unavyoelezea heat period usielezee tu increased sexual desire, but also uelezee a production of luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, lakini pia uelezee ovulation, kwa sababu heat period manake huyu mnyama anakuwa na ovulate ili aweze ku fertilize apate pregnancy. The dominant follicle in the ovary mature to reach its maximum growth and finally rupture, releasing secondary oocyte for fertilization. This is called ovulation. So in the heat period also ovulation takes place. Endometrium and vaginal epithelium are maximally thickened and become hyperemic and congested, and the cervix is relaxed. Cervix inakuwa relaxed, ndio maana wafugaji wanakuwa wanajua kwamba huyu mnyama yuko heat kwa sababu ya the appearance of the vagina. The uterine, cervical and vaginal glands secrete increased amount of mucus. Kwa mucus inakuwa nyingi. During proestrus and ostrus there is follicular growth in the absence of functional corporal lutea, or absence of the functional corpus luteum. Proestrus and ostrus are therefore frequently referred to as collectively as follicular phase of the cycle. Kwa hiyo unaweza kuona kwamba hapa kuna increased sexual desire, release ya hormone hizo hapo, ovulation inatokea, na vagina become more relaxed and secrete more mucus. Unaona significance of ostrus hizi ambazo zilikuwa zimeulizwa kwenye swali B. Sasa significance of oestrus maximizes the chance for fertilization to occur. It synchronizes, yani inaunganisha, inakutanisha ovulation with copulation. Unaona, toka hapo kuna meto-oestrus ambao ni event inayofuata. This is the phase succeeding oestrus during which recent rupture follicles reorganize into corpus luteum. Katika meto-oestrus tunatengeneza nini? Corpus luteum. Na tukitengeneza corpus luteum, we expect progesterone level to rise. The concentration of estrogen itakuwa na decrease. Diaoestrus, this is the period of oestrus cycle with maximum corpus luteum size and function. Kwa hapa corpus luteum inaonekana fanya kazi sana. Corpus luteum is full functional during this phase and become a dominant structure. During meta-oestrus and diaoestrus, there is development of the corpus luteum. Meta-oestrus and diaoestrus, they are therefore frequently referred to as collectively as luteal phase of the cycle. Finally, kuna ano-oestrus. This is stage of period of rest and reset for reproductive system during which there is no any visible sexual activity. So there is no any follicular development and there is no corpus luteum. Unfortunately, many polyoestrus mammals do not have this period for their reproductive system to rest. Kwa ano-oestrus iko kwa wanyama ambao wanakuwa na oestrus moja tu mwaka mzima. Ano-oestrus is not among the phases of their oestrus cycle. For such mammal, their oestrus cycle has only 4 phases, starting with the pro-oestrus to the oestrus. As explained above, for such mammals, literally, the end of one journey starts another journey, kama ilivyo kwenye menstrual. Ano-oestrus is experienced by only monoestrus and seasonal polyoestrus mammals, yani wale wanyama ambao kwa mwaka mzima anaweza kazaa mtoto mmoja tu. For such mammal, their oestrus cycle has 5 phases, starting with pro-oestrus to ano-oestrus. So yeah, similarities between menstrual cycle and oestrus cycle. Hizi hizo differences hatujaulizwa hizo, sometime wanaziuliza, ila kwa hapo hatujaulizwa hizo. Capacitation. Question B requires us to justify the need for the oestrus cycle in a female animal. That's the major importance of oestrus cycle in a female animal ni ile kuhakikisha kwamba fertilization na coincide with ovulation na coincide with copulation. That's the major importance documented. I don't know if Thai book has documented any another importance of oestrus cycle that I try to see here. Fertilization in plants. Kuja tuone hapa life cycle of bryophytes, life cycle of angiosperms, phases of oestrus cycle. Might be ameelezea difference between menstrual. Yaeleza importance of oestrus cycle. You see the issue with your books. That's a very bad issue with your books. Tunaita ni vitabu vya Tai alafu havina majibu ya mitihani ambayo wametunga baraza la mitihani. Hilo ni swali la kwanza. Muda wetu haujaenda sana. Swali la pili, find the respiratory quotient for the complete respiration of glucose. Give 7 points justify the need for fermentation process in animal. Fermentation process in animal. Find the respiratory quotient for a complete respiration of glucose. Hopefully we know that the complete respiration of glucose gives us complete respiration of glucose inatupa molecules za carbon dioxide zinazotumika ni 6 na molecules za molecules za oxygen zinazotumika ni 6 na molecules za carbon dioxide zinazotengenezwa ni 6. Hopefully you know, or hopefully you have that prior knowledge of respiration. Kiufupi, respiratory quotient for the respiration of one molecule of carbohydrate it's 1, kwa sababu itakuwa ni 6 gawanya kwa 6 ni 1. Respiratory quotient it's 1. But kuhusu fermentation in animal, actually we know that in animal there is no fermentation as it's per se in the exam, lakini najua wanachomaanisha hapo ni anaerobic respiration. Katika animal ina importance gani anaerobic respiration? Let's see a little bit hapa. Anaerobic respiration, electron transport chain, mitochondrial oxidative phosphorylation. Anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration is often referred to as fermentation. It is often referred to as fermentation. Pleasant thinking suggests that life originated in the atmosphere without oxygen, and the first form of life were therefore anaerobic. So tunazungumzia fermentation in animal. Fermentation, the production of alcohol by microorganisms and plants, as well as the formation of lactic acid in animal muscle. There is alcoholic fermentation in plants and microorganisms, and then there is lactic acid fermentation. This is the process by which the pyruvic acid formed from the glycolysis is reduced by the NAD H2 at the donor form original atom to form lactic acid. Swali B ilikuwa nataka give 7 points. RQ ile pale for the complete, find the RQ. Hapo manake utaandika reaction, complete respiration of carbohydrate au glucose, utaandika glucose C6 H12O6 then plus oxygen gas and carbon dioxide and water to balance the chemical equation. Then utasema from respiratory quotient is equal to number of moles of carbon dioxide formed divided by number of moles of oxygen used. So you divide the number of moles of carbon dioxide formed divided by the number of moles of oxygen used, and then you'll get the respiratory quotient. Actually hilo swali la 7 points kupata point 7 ni kazi ngumu sana. Unlike alcoholic fermentation. Okay. So lactic acid can further be broken down in the presence of oxygen, thus releasing energy. Hiyo ni importance ya kwanza. Lactic acid can further be broken down in the presence of oxygen to release energy, but also lactic acid can be resynthesized into carbohydrate, or it can be excreted. That's number 2. Lactic acid inapelekea muscle cramp. That's not such much important. However, it tells the body that amount of oxygen is not enough. But actually I can't lie you kwamba there are some questions which are unfair. Na ndio maana nimekwambia there is the need for you to have a competence in paper 1 topic but also in paper 2 topics, ili kwamba if you not perform well in paper 1 topics, you'll go to make sure that you are raising your performance in paper 2 and paper 3 topics in order to perform well in your result score. Kwa mazingira kama haya, maswali kama ni ya komoana ambayo utajibu unavyoweza, lakini hayo ni maswali ambayo huenda, kwa sababu hata ukifuatia kitabu cha TAI, BSc understanding hazina hizo point, so always huwa yanakuwa ni maswali ya komoana sana. lakini anyway we shall meet in the coming session. Tutaenda kuchambua kuhusu maswali mbalimbali. Thank you and let you wish you nice studies.